Hey guys, it's Craig with Yard to Table Creations. Today we're going to talk irrigation installation. This property we're going to be looking at how to water raised bed gardens, fruit trees, and grass. How do we do all of that? Well, we're going to have to break it up. But first things first, you have to make a plan. Let's take a quick look at what we're planning for. So we've got a series of raised beds. We're going to need 3 lines to water. We've got some grass behind us, which is going to need another 2 lines to water for 2 separate stations. And we've got a row of fruit trees, which are going to be our 3rd watering need, which are going to get their own dedicated line. How do you split these lines up? How do you break these gardens up so that you can water different sections? You do it with a manifold. A manifold is basically a station of valves that allows one valve at a time to turn on when the clock tells it to turn on and turn off when it's done with its runtime. We can do that one station at a time, and that way we're not overloading the water pressure from the house to try and run all these stations all at once. Now that we know what we're trying to water, let's put a plan together. Step 1 is always make a plan. If you don't make a plan, you're going to make mistakes. Mistakes in plumbing can lead to big problems, and we don't want any of those. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna map this out. We're gonna figure out where we're gonna put our lines, where we're gonna run them, where they're gonna come out to the beds, where they're gonna go to the grass, so that we know where we need to dig our trenches and lay our pipe. All right, now that we know where we're trying to run our water lines, we need to take a closer look at just the garden boxes. We decided to break this up into 3 sections: an upper section, a middle section, and a lower section. We don't know yet where we're putting our lines, and that's what this is for. We're gonna use this to draw a map of where we're gonna dig our trenches so that we know exactly where our lines are running. So first things first, we have to figure out where we're gonna place our manifold. We wanna put our manifold in a place that's out of the way enough that nobody's gonna kick it, break it, trip over it, but we also want it accessible because eventually work will need to be done on those valves. They need to be cleaned. Sometimes they need to be replaced, so you don't want it hidden under a tree or in a place that you can't get to. In this case, we're gonna put ours right here. Next, we're gonna figure out just where we're gonna put the first 3 lines that are gonna water the garden boxes. So our lines we're gonna run them in a place where we wanna be able to dig, where we can get to it if we need to, and if something breaks, we wanna be able to find it. So this first line here, this is gonna be where our line runs to water the upper station. Our next one is gonna be our mid station. Now from here, we're gonna run one line to here. And there's our 3rd. Okay, so now we know where our lines are going, more or less, for our garden beds. Now we also have to dedicate 2 lines that are gonna water this side and that side of our lawn. For right now, we're just gonna mark those with 1 line there. We also have our trees to address. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run our last line, which would be our 6th line, down to the end here to where the beginning of the tree watering system is. And there's our tree line. Okay, last but not least, we need to take care of where our grass is gonna be. Now we mentioned that we had run 2 lines over here, but where are these lines gonna go? The way that we're gonna break this up is we're gonna make this side 1 station and that side of the lawn the other station. So where are we gonna run our water? Well, to get full coverage out here, we're gonna have some pop-up sprayers. We're gonna have some 180-degree sprayers on the edges, some 90-degree spray heads that come into the middle, and a couple of 360 heads in the middle so that we make sure we can water the entire area. All right, to address watering our grass, first we need to figure out where we are going to put our pop-up sprinkler bodies. We want even coverage. We talked about the corners, the sides, and the center, so we're just gonna put a little dot where we want those to go. All right, where I'm putting these dots, we're gonna be putting in 4-inch pop-up sprinkler bodies, which that means is they're gonna be buried 4 inches down into the ground, and a pop-up will pop up when it comes up that sticks 4 inches out of the ground and retracts back to ground level. Okay, now we have our pop-up sprinkler bodies placed. Now we need to essentially connect the dots. So as we mentioned, we're gonna have 1 station watering 1 side. So we're gonna have 1 line there's station 1. So now we need a 2nd line to run to station 2. So you'll notice over here the area is a little bit narrower. So we're not going to need to throw water from our sprinkler heads 15 or 20 feet like we are on the other side of the yard. So the way to account for that is you can swap out the heads that have a different throw rate. The throw rate is just the number of feet that sprinkler head will throw the water out from the center. All right, now we've got our lines all drawn. Now we have our map. Now it's time to start digging trenches. But remember, you never know where to put your trenches if you don't plan, draw it out, prevent your mistakes. If you guys need any help, you know where to find me. Y'all have a great day.